Good morning. This is Sujata, Assistant Professor of Botany, Government Degree College Women, Karimnagar. Today I am going to give a lecture on extranuclear genome. In all living organisms, within the nucleus, chromosomes are present, that is DNA. So the DNA which is present in the nucleus is called as nuclear DNA or chromosomal DNA. This chromosomal DNA which is present in the nucleus is very important because it consists of the genetic information which is transferred to next generation. So DNA present in nucleus, besides this, DNA also present in some organelles which are present in the cell. So these organelles are plastids and mitochondria. So not only in the nucleus, DNA it is present in organelles like plastids, mitochondria and plasmids. So this DNA which is present in these cell organelles also contains genetic information. So this genetic information which is present in the cell organelles, mitochondria, plastids, this genetic information also transferred to next generation. So the genetic systems which are present in the cytoplasmic organelles. Cytoplasmic organelles means here mitochondria and plastids and also plasmids. So these are present outside of the nucleus. So that's why this genome is called as extranuclear genome. Extranuclear genome. Why we are calling this extranuclear genome? Because this genetic systems, that is DNA, is present in these plastids and mitochondria. So these are present outside of the nucleus in the cytoplasm. So that's why we called as extra chromosomal genome or extra nuclear genome. So the inheritance of characters through these genomes. Which genomes? That is plastids and mitochondrial genome. So the inheritance of these characters is called as extranuclear inheritance or cytoplasmic inheritance. So the inheritance of characters through the genome of plastids and chloroplast is called as extranuclear inheritance, or these organelles are present in the cytoplasm. That's why this is also called as cytoplasmic inheritance. So the genes involved in this inheritance, that is the genes which are present in this chloroplast and mitochondria. So these genes are called as plasma genes. What we call plasma genes. So these extra chromosomal DNA that is present in the mitochondria and plastids and also plasmids. So these have some certain specific characteristics. These have some specific characteristics. Those characters which are different from nuclear DNA. So what are those characters? That this extranuclear DNA, it is circular in organization. This DNA which is present in the mitochondria and the plastid, it is circular in organization. And they replicate continuously in all cycles of cell division. And they do not follow the Mendel's law of inheritance. These genomes which are present in these organelles, they do not inherit as per Mendel laws of inheritance. And the main is these genomes mostly exhibit uniparental, that is maternal inheritance. That is the main. The inheritance of the genome, that is through mitochondria and chloroplast, mainly is maternal. They show the maternal inheritance. And the recombinations are very rare in these genomes. When we compare with our nuclear genome, these genomes show a rare recombinations. So these are the characteristics of these extranuclear genome. First we discuss about the plastid or chloroplast DNA. Plastid or chloroplast DNA. So this chloroplast, these are the cell organelles and these are the autonomous and self-replicating cell organelles. Why we are calling autonomous? Because these are consisting the DNA. They can replicate. That's why we call these organelles are autonomous self-replicating cell organelles. And this chloroplast, it is believed that these chloroplasts have originated from cyanobacteria in endosymbiotic manner. The origin of this chloroplast, when we see, these are originated from cyanobacteria in endosymbiotic manner. So in shortcut, we call this chloroplast DNA as ctDNA or cpDNA. ctDNA or cpDNA. So the chloroplast DNA, it is present in circular and double helical in organization. Circular and double helical. So in chloroplasts are present in the leaf in mesophyll cells. Nearly 50 to 100 chloroplasts are present in each of the mesophyll cells. That is polycyte tissue and sponge tissue. So in each cell, 50 to 100 chloroplasts are present. So this ctDNA or CP, that is chloroplast DNA, it contains in each chloroplast, the DNA are present nearly 10 to 100 copies. The chloroplast DNA molecules are present in each chloroplast, that is 10 to 100 copies of DNA. So the chloroplast DNA, it consists of the 120 to 200 kilobase pairs. So this is small in size, this chloroplast DNA, when we compare with nuclear DNA. But it is something bigger than mitochondrial DNA. So this chloroplast DNA, it contains the genes which are involved in the synthesis of enzymes which are useful in photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. A part of ribulose bicarboxylase enzyme. Ribulose bicarboxylase, that is RUBP. Ribulose bicarboxylase enzyme, it plays a very important role in photosynthesis. So a part of this enzyme, synthesis takes place in the control of this chloroplast DNA. The remaining part of this enzyme, that is RUBP, is synthesized by nuclear DNA. So ribulose bicarboxylase enzyme, it plays an important role in the photosynthesis. So some part of this enzyme is synthesized in the control of chloroplast genes, and remaining part is synthesized by nuclear DNA. So the chloroplast DNA is useful in the synthesis of the enzymes which are participate in photosynthesis, And also the genes of chloroplast are involved in the synthesis of mRNAs, ribosomal RNA, and pigment system 1 and pigment system 2, and cytochromes, and also ATP synthetase. So in all enzymes, the synthesis takes place in the control of this chloroplast DNA. So when we see the structure of the chloroplast DNA, it is already told, it is circular, double helical in organization. Circular and double helical in organization. So it consists of the place of that is rubisco, that is large subunit, and here 16S rRNA, 23S rRNA, tRNA, 23S rRNA. So these are all genes for the synthesis of those RNAs. And here left side, that is subunits of RNA polymerase. So they are useful in the synthesis of RNA polymerase. And here tRNA also there, the synthesis of tRNA part also there in chloroplast DNA. So this is the structure of chloroplast DNA. And next, the chloroplast inheritance. How the DNA which is present in the chloroplast, how it inherited to next generation. So this chloroplast play an important role in inheritance of certain characters. Inheritance of certain character. This chloroplast, the genes which are present in the chloroplast, they play an important role in the synthesis of photosynthetic enzymes. Apart from this, the genome also plays an important role in inheritance of certain characters. So the inheritance of this chloroplast DNA is independent of nuclear inheritance. The inheritance of the chloroplast DNA is independent of nuclear inheritance. And the most important, the inheritance of this chloroplast DNA is uniparental. Uniparental and is maternal. That is the mother characters. It is maternal. Uniparental and it is maternal in inheritance. And also this type of inheritance we also called as cytoplasmic inheritance. The chloroplast DNA inheritance we also called as cytoplasmic inheritance. So the inheritance of this plastid DNA, it will not follow the Mendelian laws of inheritance. Mendelian laws of inheritance. So the inheritance is maternal because the majority of the cytoplasm of the offspring is derived from the egg. That's why the inheritance is maternal in nature. Because when the fusion takes place between the male and female gametes, the cytoplasm of the offspring derived from the egg only, not from sperm. That's why the inheritance is always maternal. So the plastid inheritance we can study in Mirabilis jalapa, that is chloroplast plant. The plastid inheritance in Mirabilis jalapa was first reported by Correns in 1909. So he first reported the plastid inheritance in Mirabilis jalapa, that is 4 o'clock plant we call. So in Mirabilis jalapa, that is in 4 o'clock plant, there are different kinds of leaves and branches are formed. Leaves and branches. Mainly, there are 3 types of the branches and leaves are present. First one is complete green color leaves. And second one is white, that is pale color. Third one is variegated. Third one is variegated. That means green leaves are spotted with patches of white, mixed green and white. That color we called as variegated. So these three types of color, that is leaves, branches, we can see in Mirabilis gelapa. So the variegated leaves, that is green leaves with spotted with white, is called as albomaculatus type of leaf variegation. Albomaculatus type of leaf variegation. Albomaculatus leaf variegation means that is leaves with the green color spotted with the patches of white. So when they did different classes involving the above characters, they give different types of progenies. Different types of progenies. For example, you see the picture. For example, if the female parent is green color and is crossed with a male having variegated one, the offspring will be with the green color only. The offspring with the green color only. Similarly, female parent is variegated and crossed with the green color male parent, the resulting offspring will be variegated. These results show that the progeny inheritance the color of the female parent only, irrespective of whatever is the color of the male parent. So if we cross the female with male, the progeny gets the color of the female only, not male. So the inheritance is here maternal. So here the results show that the progeny inherit the color of the female parent, not the male parent. So this type of the inheritance called as maternal. So it is maternal in nature. And another example of the maternal inheritance is that we see in the maize plant. Ijopa inheritance. So in this maize, the gene IJ, that is Ijopa, has been mapped by Rhodes scientist. The name is M. Rhodes. The scientist, he mapped the gene which is present in the maize, that is IJ gene. So this also we can study in that is under the chloroplast inheritance. So in the presence of the influence of this gene, that is IJOP gene, there is a three different kinds of leaves form: green, white, and third one is with the green and white stripes, that is IJOP called. So like Mirabilis, the color observed in the female parent alone is inherited in the progeny irrespective of whatever be the color of male parent. So in the maize plant also, when we cross with the female with the male, the progeny get the color of the which is present in the female only, not male. There is no effect of the male. Only the color of leaf which is present in the female, that only transfers to the progeny. So this is the also called as the maternal inheritance, that is through chloroplast inheritance. Next, mitochondrial DNA. This mitochondria also present in the cytoplasm. In mitochondria also DNA is present. It is also circular, double membrane, yes, this DNA also double helical, circular. In mitochondria it is present. These mitochondria are rich in ATP. So these are called the powerhouse of the cell. So in this also DNA is present. This DNA is called as the mitochondrial DNA. It is short in size when we compare with the chloroplast DNA. And this mitochondrial DNA also originated endosymbiotically from cyanobacteria like plastids. So this mitochondrial DNA is present. It is attached to the inner membrane of the mitochondria in matrix region. The mitochondria consists of the double membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane. So the DNA is attached to the inner membrane of the mitochondria. So this mitochondrial DNA is small in size and simple, double-stranded. See the structure of the mitochondrial DNA. So this mitochondrial DNA is small in structure and simple, double-stranded, circular. And this mitochondrial genomes occur in many copies. And the size of the mitochondria are so different in different organisms. In some plants, it is very large when we compare with the animals. And that is depending on the organism, the size varies. And in mitochondrial DNA, the region with genetic information coding for enzymes and proteins is small when compared with the non-coding region. So the enzymes which are useful in the respiration, that is in oxidative phosphorylation, electron transport and other respiratory reactions, those enzymes are present in, those enzymes are controlled in mitochondrial DNA. Under these enzymes which are useful in the respiration, those enzymes are synthesized under the control of mitochondrial DNA. And this mitochondrial DNA also involved in the synthesis of many tRNA and rRNA. And this in mitochondrial DNA, the transcription takes place. This transcription of mitochondrial DNA is similar to nuclear genome transcription. But there are some differences between the mitochondrial DNA transcription and nuclear transcription. There are in codons also, there are different between the mitochondrial DNA and nuclear DNA. And when we see the replication of mitochondria, the replication in mitochondrial DNA is carried under the control of nuclear genes, but it is different from it. The replication of DNA, it is the control of nuclear genes. So in the replication of the mitochondrial DNA, the mitochondrial polymerase plays a significant role. Mitochondrial polymerase, it plays a main role in the replication of mitochondrial DNA. So when we see the mitochondrial DNA, it consists of the two strands. First one is H strand, that is heavy strand, and next one is the L strand, that is light strand. So in both these strands, see the two strands are there. Outer one is the H, that is heavy. Inner one is the L strand, that is light strand. So these two strands are present in the mitochondrial DNA. In both these strands, the replication is unidirectional. In both strands, the replication is unidirectional, but in opposite directions. So in both strands, that is H strand and L strands, origin of replication sites are located at different positions. ORI sites are present in different positions, not in same place. So the first replication starts in the H strand, that is outer strand, at where ORI site, in the D loop. And the replication in this strand continues till it reaches the ORI loci of other strand, that is light strand. So the first replication starts where? In H strand, that is outer. It starts from the ORI site of the H strands and it continues till where it reaches the ORI loci of the other strand, that is L strand. When it reaches the L strand, ORI strand. At that point, the replication starts in the second strand. When it reaches that place, then in the second strand, that in L strand, from the ORI place, the replication starts in opposite direction to the first strand. So it results in the formation of the two new mitochondrial DNA molecules. So when we see the mitochondrial DNA inheritance, like plastid inheritance, this mitochondrial DNA inheritance also maternal. It's also maternal. So the mutations in mitochondrial DNA are generally inherited to the offspring from the mother. Some scientists they observed that is some mutations which are occurred in the mitochondrial DNA. They are generally inherited to the offspring from the mother. If the mutations of this mitochondria are present in the father, then these are not transmitted to the next generation. But the mutations in the mitochondrial DNA are present in the mother, then these mutations are inherited to the offsprings. So by this they concluded that the mitochondrial inheritance is maternal, not paternal. So some scientists they observed that the pokey mutants, these pokey mutants are they observed in the neurospora. In neurospora, they observed the pokey mutants in the neurospora. So these pokey mutants neurospora helped in understanding the mitochondrial DNA inheritance. So in this neurospora species, these pokey mutants are occurred in mitochondrial DNA, that is in mother cell. So these pokey mutants are inherited through female parent to offsprings. So these pokey mutants in neurospora crassa was first isolated by Mitchell and Mitchell. So the species which having these pokey mutants, the neurospora species, they are differ from wild type. They show the slow growth and abnormal cytochromes. So these mutations, which are we call pokey mutations, these are present in the female mitochondria. So these are inherited to the offspring, that is next generation. So by this they observed that the mitochondrial inheritance also maternal by studying these pokey mutants which are present in the neurospora crassa. And also some genetic diseases also they studied and observed that certain genetic diseases also due to mutant genes of mitochondrial DNA. Some genetic diseases which are mutant genes, the genetic diseases which are occurred, the genes which are present in the mitochondria. So these genetic diseases also they are transferred to the next generation. That is which are present in the mother mitochondria. If these genetic diseases are occurred by mitochondrial genes, so these are next transferred to the next generation. So those genetic diseases, example in human beings, Leber's disease, that is which causes the permanent blindness. So this Leber's disease, it occurred by mutants of mitochondrial DNA. This disease, how it occurred? Through in mitochondria, mutations takes place. So in mitochondria, that is mutants, this disease occurred. That is, this is called the Leber's disease. So it is causes the permanent blindness. So this disease also transferred to next generation from the mother mitochondria. And also another disease also in human beings, that is K syndrome. So due to this syndrome, the normal and natural movements of heart and eye muscles is seriously affected. normal and natural movements of heart and eye muscles are seriously affected. So this case syndrome, how it occurred? Due to the mutants of mitochondrial DNA. If these mutants are present in mother mitochondria, so these also transfers to next generation. Okay, so these are the some genetic diseases which are transmitted, which are occurred due to the mutants genes of mitochondria, next passed to the next generation. So next one is the plasmid DNA. These plasmids are also autonomous self-replicating DNA molecules. These also present on the cytoplasm, that is outer of the nucleus. So these are present outside of the nucleus. That's why we call these are extranuclear DNA molecules. So these are present in the cytoplasm. So these plasmids are mainly present in the bacteria and yeast cells. So when we compare with the chromosomal DNA, plasmid DNA is small in size and it consists to 1 to 400 kilobase pairs. And also these plasmids, it contains few specific marker genes. It consists of the specific marker genes, especially antibiotic resistant genes. So these antibiotic resistant genes, example tetracycline, penicillin, these antibiotic resistant genes also called as marker genes. And this plasmid consists of the ORA gene, from where the replication starts. And also plasmids also replicate in the same way like chromosomal DNA. And these plasmids, the number of the plasmids per cell is called the plasmid copy, the number of plasmids. So if the plasmids are present 1 to 4 in per cell, then it is called as low copy plasmids. If these plasmids are present more than 20, then it is called as high copy plasmids. So these plasmids also consist sites for special restriction enzymes. So these plasmids are very useful in carrying the genes, that is transferring the genes. These are used as vectors. So when we see the classification of the plasmid, and based on the genes, which genes are present in the plasmid, and the behavior and their function, these plasmids are 5 types. First one is F plasmid, R plasmid, Pol plasmids, degradative plasmids, virulent plasmids. So 5 types of plasmids. F plasmids, that is, they consist of the TRA gene. This F plasmids we called as fertility plasmids because they help in the transfer of F factor. Due to the transfer of F factor, F minus strain becomes the F plus strain. And next, R plasmids. R plasmids, they contain the antibiotic resistant genes. Antibiotic resistant gene. So these plasmids are present in those organisms. They show resistance to antibiotics like tetracycline, ampicillin, streptomycin. So R plasmids, they consist of the resistant genes for the antibiotics. Next, Pol plasmids. Pol plasmids, that is colins. These are the toxic proteins. They kill bacteria. So the plasmids which produce the colins, which are toxic, those plasmids are called Pol plasmids. Next, degradative plasmids. Degradative plasmids, these plasmids which produce the enzymes which are capable of degrading certain toxic substances. Example, toluene. these plasmids, if these degradative plasmids present in the bacteria, it have the capacity to degrade the toxic substances. So those plasmids are called degradative plasmids. Example, Pseudomonas. This bacteria, it consists of these degradative plasmids. And next, last one is the virulent plasmids. Virulent plasmids means these plasmids, they convert the non-pathogenic bacteria into pathogenic. These plasmids, they convert the non-pathogenic bacteria into pathogenic. So those plasmids are called virulent. These virulent plasmids, they transfer Vir genes to non-pathogenic forms. Then they cause diseases. Example, TI plasmids of Agrobacterium tunipaciens. So they cause the brown gall disease in dicots. So these are the types of plasmids depending on their behavior and functions. So the structure of the plasmid naturally they occur, but there are some artificial plasmids also there. Depending on the need, they are modified, the natural plasmids. So now we are seeing this plasmid structure. This is TI plasmid and having the sites for oxygen production, cytokine production, and virulent region. Now we discussed virulent plasmid. That is TI plasmid consists of the virulent region. It transfers that with genes to another plasmid. They cause the pathogen. And ORI region. So next, this is another artificial plasmid, PBr 322 plasmid. P means plasmid, BR that is in the honor of scientists Bolivar and Roderick, that is number 322. So this plasmid also consists of the circular double-stranded DNA and it carries some specific marker genes. These marker genes are useful in the identification of clones. So this plasmid also has an ORA gene where the replication starts. This plasmid contains a number of specific target sites for particular restriction enzymes. So this is structure of the plasmid, and when we see the uses of plasmids, these plasmids are great importance in the production of recombinant DNA molecules. In the recombinant technology, we use these plasmids as vector, and also these plasmids are used in the developing the extranuclear genomes. Extranuclear genomes or gene carries by inserting genes of importance in biotechnology. When we incorporate cast site of lambda phase into plasmid, then plasmid formation takes place. And also plasmids, they play important role in the gene cloning as vectors. And also these plasmids are used in production of usable chemicals and pharmaceutical products like insulin, like that. So this is about the plasmids uses. Thank you.